replacing an air oil separator in a 987.1. Thumbnail. First, we're going to disconnect this hose. Then we're going to disconnect this one. We're going to remove this bolt, and then pull it out. After doing the clutch, the pressure plate, and installing a new dual mass flywheel by LUK, I'll explain shortly why my transmission is out of the car and it's on lifts. Basically, right after I replaced it, I had heard a horrible squealing sound. A lot of smoke suddenly was coming out of the car. Okay, I probably put the new dual mass flywheel in incorrectly. Everything checks out. And then you look over here, and this is your air intake. And you look over here and you're like, why is there a lot of oil dripping from my air intake? And then you go on Google. Google says probably your air oil separator. A light misting is okay, but this isn't. There can be violent squealing because air is actually getting sucked in through the rear main seal. There can be excessive smoke and all that good stuff. I took a look at my engine air filter and it doesn't look horrible. Look at all this oil in my air intake hose. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of oil inside of it. So today's tutorial is on replacing the air oil separator. Today we'll just be disassembling it. I am very much cheating because many people struggle through this wheel well to get to the two bolts that hold the air oil separator in. It's going to be a different, much easier version for me. Probably because I have easy access to all of these clamps here, and I have easy access to the air oil separator because I see the clamp right here. We'll be pulling it out of the engine, we'll be inspecting the air oil separator, and ultimately installing a new part. We'll be undoing this clamp to the air oil separator, and then we'll be seeing what's going horribly wrong. The first step to replace your air oil separator is to put your convertible top in service mode. For the 987, I previously made the error of putting the Velcro strap on this driver's side door loop. But actually, if you get a convertible top around 2 feet distance, you can actually fold it back here and put the Velcro strap through this fold onto the driver's side hook here. And that'll be much easier to store. Optional step. Get organized and lay everything out. Put everything in cardboards. Terrific jack stands. Make sure that you have access to your engine bay. I'll make a separate quick tutorial video on how to get access to your engine bay. For now, I'll link a good one. This is your air oil separator. It's located here, and this is the first hose that we're going to disconnect. And as you can see, there's already oil there when I pull it out a little. So as we can see, it's come out, so that's all we need to do. The second step, this is the top, this is the bottom, is to remove this hose. And that is located down here. This hose is down there under that one. And the best way to get to it is to reach under this coolant pipe and hold both of these clips and pull it out. I'll do my best to film this. When the hose is disconnected, this is what it ends up looking like. My cables are a little in the way. So just pull on it a little, and this is okay. So the next step is to remove this bolt, which will be highlighted on screen, and this other bolt that's rusty, which is selected on the screen. We are removing this bolt and this bolt. Use extensions to get down there, and I'll do my best to film at this awkward angle. This is the best female Torx socket set that I found, and I'll link it in the description because it fits all the German car Star Torx sockets. Like this. A Star female Torx socket. Since I also have my transmission out, this video has a unique YouTube advantage where you can actually see directly what I'm doing from below, and you have easy access to your air oil separator from here. This is the hose we disconnected earlier. This is the other bolt. I'll link a couple of other videos because unfortunately this clamp is the one that gives everybody difficulty. In this video, I'm not gonna have any difficulty undoing this clamp, which I will be still replacing with another hose clamp. You'll see it later. You won't see me finagling, so I'll link a couple of good finagle videos, how to get this from up top, since I'm down here doing it. But basically, if you're doing this clamp from up top, this is the most difficult part of the air oil separator. And this is what the bolt looks like once it's removed from over here. Locking pliers. So we take them and we want to disconnect this clamp. Right now, my challenge is getting this hose to get off my old air oil separator, because every time I pull, it yanks up on its connection to the engine. And that's not good. My air oil separator is not coming out. I was able to get this hose out. You can see all this oil here by getting the long flathead screwdriver, putting it up, and then finagling it into this hose, and then pushing with more force than I care to admit, and then bending the hose away, doing my best not to tear it, and it's just popping off. So now we're gonna go to the top. You can see I wiggled the air oil separator mostly out of the engine from below. So if we just pull on it, it should come on right on out. And we do not want to drop anything into the engine or the other holes. And look at all this oil in my air intake hose. Oh my gosh, that is a lot of oil inside of it. So that's why it was making horrible noises. Oh, look at that. And now, how to reinstall. To reinstall the new air oil separator, first let's put on both bolts, so then we can finagle it into position. This is difficult to hold in film, so I will describe the process so nobody's left in the dark. From under the car, you would normally do this from above. You're finessing it such that this O-ring fits into this connection fits into the tube, and the bolt goes here. If I recall correctly, doing the air oil separator, mine would have been extremely difficult due to the age of my car if I had not had my transmission out. So really, if your car is at least 2006, my recommendation is do it while you're doing the clutch at 80,000 miles to save yourself a lot of cursing with this rubber hose from above. But okay, I'm gonna resume pulling this in, fitting this connection into the engine, fitting this connection into the hose, moving the clamp back onto this connection, and putting the bolts back in these two connections, and then we're done. I just got the air oil separator in. The most challenging part was twisting it such that this connection and this hose simultaneously fit in. Immediately after filming the previous clip, I turned clockwise, and all of this just stood, immediately got back into the position it should be. So it's pretty straightforward. So this clamp is stuck, as you can see, next to the engine connection. So what I'm going to do is use these guys, a hose clamp that will also be easy to access in the future from the top just by using one of these heads. So let's loosen it, and then I'm gonna put it there. With this hose connected, let's reconnect this one. And it's important that the AOS isn't bolted in yet, so I can bend it a little to get everything into place. Now that it clicked in, I just, voila, oil from my air oil separator. Hunt for this bolt, my super duper extension. There we go. The cable, as you can see, is in the way. Don't despair. Always wear a hat. This bolt does not have to be incredibly tight. This guy's tight, and you're done with the AOS. Thanks for watching. If it helped, like and subscribe. Stay tuned for more Porsche and car videos. From up top, here is how the finished result looks.
Держишь? Да.
Чтобы видно было, как сейчас Руслан на машине выезжать будет. Пальцы. А тут мы там стоим.